All right, the Bruins moving on to the Eastern Conference semifinals after taking care of the Capitals in 5 games. We bring in Joe McDonald. Joe, they had him on the ropes up 3-1. And what was your reaction to tonight's foot on the throat, so to speak?
Well, Yanni, this team, they have the experience. They understand that they have to close out series as soon as they can. And you saw it in game 4 that they had the foot on the throttle, and they weren't going to let that up in game 5. So as we talked about, I think a week ago, that the Bruins are probably going to close out the series in 5. So I'm not surprised. A huge win for the Bruins, and it gives them the momentum that they need going into the second round. And the best part for this team, especially given a shortened season, now they get some rest.
And specific to this game, they were outshot most of the night by the Capitals. What can you say about Tukka's performance and timely scoring from the Bruins, all 3 goals coming from that top line?
Well, when you think about Tukka, everybody's going to be like, "Oh, well, Tukka, he hasn't raised the cup yet. He hasn't given that big performance." But Tukka Rask right now is dialed in. He is motivated because he understands that his contract is up at the end of the season. Who knows what's going to happen after this? And he wants to do that, in the worst way. Yeah. And his teammates understand that as well. And you're right. They were getting the timely scoring. So this is a huge, huge series win for the Bruins. And this is only going to motivate them going through. And I really do believe that this is going to be a deep run for the Bruins.
Before we get into the possible matchup in the next round, you said before the series, if they can take care of Washington, they can go all the way. How impressive was a win, regardless of it being 5 games, or how good were the Capitals, I should ask, being that they dismantled them in 5 games, and is any future opponent going to be better than the Caps?
Well, Yanni, we talked about it, right? So, the Capitals were a bigger, more physical team than the Bruins, and they needed to use their speed in order to combat that, and they did. And we saw it in this series. So moving forward, look, the Bruins can play that physical kind of that game, and they can also play that speed game. We saw it against the Capitals, and moving forward, they know that they can play whatever game that they need to play to win. So this was a huge victory for the Bruins. And you're right. I mean, I did say that if they were able to get past this round, that they had a pretty good chance of going deep. And I do believe that this team could get to the Stanley Cup final.
All right, as we tape this right now, the Penguins and Islanders tied at 2 games apiece. So the earliest they play Monday, the earliest it could end is Wednesday. So we know there'll be some time there. What is a better matchup for the Bruins?
It's dangerous either way, right? I mean, you figure the Penguins, awesome team. Islanders, awesome team. The better matchup, I think, for the Bruins in order to advance is playing the Penguins. I believe that they can play Pittsburgh and beat them. The Islanders are a scary team. You look at what the additions that they made, and if you had to pick a dark horse, it would have to be the Islanders. So that's going to be a difficult matchup. But as a Bruins fans should want Pittsburgh.
That being said, if it's the Islanders, they have home ice advantage. We know that the Garden, while allowed at 25%, is going to be full capacity by the end of this month. How much will that play into it, do you think?
Huge. I mean, even 25% for this series, it sounded like 125%. And now you're talking about full capacity at the end of this month after everyone has been stuck at home, and it is going to be insane for the Garden to be at full capacity. Bruins second round. It's going to make a huge difference. And the players have even said it, that once they get to this level, they know it's going to be awesome.
Jack Edwards said it at the end of the broadcast. It was a little gratuitous bashing perhaps, but he mentioned Zdeno Chara gone, Torrey Krug gone. Neither of them seem to be that missed by the Bruins. Both are now at home, and the Bruins moving on. Those moves specific to where the Bruins are now, seemingly the right ones in your estimation?
The right moves. When it comes to Chara, they asked him to have a more reduced role. He didn't want that. And look, in this series, he looked his age. He was slow. He was falling down. Like it was. It wasn't good to see. Like Chara, you have to respect him for everything that he did for the Boston Bruins, but he did. He looked his age in this series, and that's why he was getting limited ice time. Torrey Krug, different kind of story, but if the St. Louis Blues are out and the Bruins continue, then think about that. Like you have those two guys thinking, oh, well, maybe I should have stayed. But the Bruins had different thoughts, and so far it's worked out. But we'll see what happens in a month from now.
Last one, this team versus the 2019 Cup team that went all the way to Game 7 of the Finals. How are they different, if at all?
Great question. It really is. Wow. You stunned me a little bit.
Are they better? Are they worse? Obviously, we just mentioned two guys that are no longer on the team.
Right. I would have to say right now, probably they're in a better situation than they were in 2019, only because they realize that this is it. I really believe everybody talks about the proverbial window.
Yeah.
I really think this is it for this team. Krejci's contract is done. Tukka's contract is done. So who knows what these guys are going to do? Bergeron being the captain, Marchand. I really think that this is it for the Boston Bruins. They either win with this core right now or that's it. So I would go this version of the Boston Bruins.
There you go. All right, Joe McDonald joining us after a Bruins advancement to the Eastern Conference semis. Joe, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Yianni.